when you come in, there'll be a DOL up like there is now, and there'll be an ADD, which is your math work, and you'll have the 2 sentences and you'll have the 1 and 2. If you look at your math that's in your folder, you see those little lines. You can't see where the little light bulbs are because it's where it's connected. That's where 1 goes in the first one, and then 2, just the answer for the second, okay? And then you work on the math. And do what you can, because I go over everything. So if you're looking at this thinking, oh no, I don't remember how to do this, don't worry. I'll review everything with you. This is just for you to practice on your own. I won't come over and give you an F because you couldn't do it. The bell rings, the 8:05 bell, and then there's no talking. If you can't come in and talk quietly, then there's no talking even in the beginning. Okay, but every year I've had my students do that, and I don't have a problem with it. Oh, there are so many people sitting, looking at me. Their desks are cleared off. This is going to be a fantastic year. I can see already. We're going to have a lot of fun in here. Okay, it's going to take me a little while to learn your names, and I gave you your name tags, but it should only take me probably tomorrow, and I'll have them all down. So if I call you somebody else's name, I'm sorry. But it's going to, and sometimes you remind me of kids I had before, and I might call you another name, but I'll try to get your name. And I should probably have them by tomorrow. I can call you by your name. So today I'll probably be pointing a little bit. Tomorrow I'll be able to call you by your name. Okay, do I have all eyes? I know I'm giving you a little, so you can get it. I don't want to make it. It's a very pretty book bag. That's my favorite color, purple. Okay, first of all, 3rd grade's a little different than 2nd grade. 2nd grade, your teacher still said, come with me, let me show you what to do. In 3rd grade, we tell you what to do and you're responsible for doing it. Now, does that mean I'm going to say, do all the multiplication tables for me? No. No, I'm not going to do that. But we're not going to help you as much as you were helped in 2nd grade. Okay? So, because of that, there's some rules you need to follow. These classroom rules are the same as our school rules. Okay, one of the most important rules, when I'm talking, you don't talk. If you have something to say, raise your hand. Because what I'm telling you could be something like you have a paper with 100 math problems on it, but only do 3. And you're talking and you don't hear me. Everybody else is finished, and everybody else gets to go to centers and play games, and you're still working on your math because you weren't listening. So it's very important when I'm talking that you're not talking. And that goes with show respect. When I'm talking, you're not talking. When someone else is talking, you're not talking. If Antonio had something to say, I would be standing here looking at him and listening to him. I wouldn't, when he was halfway through, start talking, because that's rude to Antonio. If you were talking, if Tiara was over here talking, she wouldn't want people to start talking while she was talking. So it's very important to show respect when someone's talking. Raise your hand. Wait your turn. And never, ever make fun of anybody because they don't know anything. I've got a college degree. That means I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. And I would never go, you don't know that, because that would hurt your feelings. So I don't want you to ever say that to each other. And let me help someone that's struggling. If someone's trying to read a word and they can't figure out it says encyclopedia, I'll tell them it says encyclopedia. Because we're going to show respect always. Because I've got a lot of fun things we can do, but we can't do them if we can't show respect. A bunch of bears, like four bears like this. 2 girls can go at a time and 2 boys. What you do is you just come back and hold it like this. You don't need to raise your hand to come back here. You just go like this. I'll look at you and I'll say yes. As soon as I've said yes to you, you just go. Okay? If you can't use the restroom for some reason, I'll say no restroom for 20 minutes. Okay, maybe we're doing an activity I don't want you to leave. If there's 2 girls standing up here, I don't want 2 more girls waiting. Stay in your seat. Well, in this case, they wouldn't be. But stay in your seat and just wait. And then as soon as they come back, then you go. Everybody gets a chance to go. You don't need to fight. You don't need to argue. You can hold it, you know, for a couple more minutes till they come back. And never, ever, ever any running. Because you've got some stairs to go up here, both ways. Never any running. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Okay? What we're going to do now is we're going to go on a little tour. Walk with our hands behind our back at all times. That way you don't touch people near you and you don't touch things on the wall. They've added a new rule. You walk in ABC order everywhere. Every class from pre-K all the way up to 5th grade walks in ABC order every time they're in the hallway. Because Mrs. Kimman said there was a lot of fighting of you're in my space, you're in my space. The only thing that will be different is the line leader or door holder. We walk on the right side, so when somebody's coming the other way, they pass on the left. We talk quietly. Some teachers will say, you need to be silent. I'll let you talk as long as you're whispering in line. But if Tiara's back here and Cameron's up here and she's screaming, Cameron, come and say this! No, we can't do that. But if you're whispering to each other, that's fine. I will make you be silent in line unless you're talking too loudly, and then unfortunately I have to make a silent line, but I would prefer not to. Treat everyone with respect. If somebody drops something, stop and help them. If they're trying to pass you, step aside so they can get past you. Treat them with respect. You don't need to touch anybody. You don't need to poke anybody. You don't need to kick them while they're trying to work. In this inventory, in an interest inventory, and this is a squirrel with some acorns, and they just ask you questions. Antonio, you need to get back up into your seat. And you'd be sitting there looking at me. I don't care. You can pick this up later. And in each nut, you're going to write an answer. On the top of the nut, it says like my full name, my favorite color, places I like to visit, the best things about me, my birthday, a book I like, things I like to do, my favorite foods, things I like to wear, when I grow up. Right here, and like when I grow up I want to be a doctor, when I grow up I want to be a football. When you are finished, you're going to switch with a partner at your table. So let's say Dijon will give his to Devante. Then you're going to read what the person said about themselves, and you're going to take one of these cards, and you're going to write the person's name on the top, and you're going to introduce that person. Then once you're finished, once everybody's finished, we'll come back together, and I'll let you raise your hand and introduce that person. You don't have to stand up, and see, this way you're not talking about yourself. This is much easier talking about somebody else. But this way everybody will get to hear about everybody. And then we're going to take it and we're going to do some math with it. We're going to make a graph of what people have in common. Everybody is going to raise their hand one time. When I call out the month you were born, you're going to raise your hand. You're going to wait for me to count, and then you're going to put your hand down, and then I'll call the next month. Is anybody's birthday in January? One person? And a tally mark is a line, and you put that to record the data. Is anybody's birthday in February? Not used that table read there yet. Okay, how many are there in August? I'm telling, it's my birthday month 3. I get to do August, that's my birthday. How many in September? 1. Raise your hand, please. How many in September? How many? 1. Carrie, how many in October? 3. 3. How many in November? How many in November? 2. 2. And how many, Antonio, in December? Okay, so what we did is we used tally marks to record our data. We used tally marks to record our data, and now we totaled up the tally marks, because that's what we're going to put in our graph. And we're going to say 1, and I'm going to make sure everybody voted. Plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 1 more is 14. Now let's count people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and we included myself as 14. Because you want to make sure the number of people or the number of things equals the number of tally marks, or your graph isn't going to be correct. Okay, so the first step is we record our data, and then the next step is we set up our graph. So while you're at lunch, I'll be setting up the graph, and then when you come back from lunch, we're actually going to take this information and we're going to put it on a piece of graph paper. Okay, at 11:21 is our lunchtime. Now before we go to the lunch, I need to review some rules. But you can leave what's on your desk, but I want pencils down. I don't want you drawing, I don't want you coloring, I don't want you writing, I don't want you playing with something in or on your desk. I want all eyes up front. I'm so happy, I'm so proud to see that I have a third grade class like this. I'm so proud of you guys, because this is how we can have fun. When you're listening, when I have to tell you things. I'm very proud of you. You guys are doing a wonderful job. You should be proud of yourselves. Okay, we talked about hall and walkways. I'm going to review the restroom. You need to have a pass. You need to use it properly, which means you don't throw towels on the floor. Cafeteria rules, especially right now where what they did is they put everybody in school and now we have silence in the serving line. Once you walk in that door, you're silent. Until she says, what's your lunch number? Or she says, do you want green beans or carrots? Or whatever the choices are. It's not green beans and carrots, I made that up. Okay, keep your hands and feet to yourself. When we went in the cafeteria, we talked about that this morning. When you sit down, your feet stay by you, your hands stay by you. It's not a time to spin around in the chair. It's not a time to throw anything. It's not a time to bother somebody. And you only talk to the person at your table. You remain seated. If you need something, it is somebody's job to get it for you. So raise your hand. And they say yes, and you say, I forgot my milk, or I forgot my silverware. Once you sit down, you cannot get back up. Just in case I can say it clearly. Jamar? Diamond? I'll try to say it clearly as I can. Tiara? Okay, so what I should see is I should see all hands behind your back. I should see you facing the front. You should be behind the person in front of you. Remember, when we're walking, we're not walking so close to somebody that we kick them. We're not trying, we don't say, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, I'm trying to, no. We wait patiently. If someone has to stop to tie their shoe, please step out of line. Now, I know that some of you, I don't know, all of you were here, we went to the cafeteria, and you sit down at the table, you place your tray down, you open your silverware, you put your napkin on your lap, and you eat your food with your fork. You don't use your spoon, you don't use your straw to drink food. You don't throw food. You don't ever share food. You only eat the food on your tray. You don't say to somebody, give me that cookie, give me that ice cream. No, you only eat what you have brought or what you are getting from the cafeteria. We don't yell at people at another table. We talk at the people at our to the people at our table only. As soon as lights go out, you are silent. That doesn't mean you finish your sentence. It means you stop. If you're saying, I want to go, you should stop right there. You shouldn't finish play after and say play after school. You should stop when they tell you to stop. Don't get up. Raise your hand. It's their job to help you. So if you need milk because you forgot to get your milk, you raise your hand. Are there any questions about the rules in the cafeteria? To 1. When I get to 1, I expect everybody to have put this in their book bag. I expect everybody to be sitting in their chair. No, leave these other papers here. And I expect everybody to be looking up front because I just have to go over one more procedure. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Do not count with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. For the first time we've had to do this, once we get our group points up, every table that's ready will receive points. Table where people are still putting things in book bags or not looking up at me will not receive the points. So it's very important to follow the directions. I still have people that are not looking at me. Girls from the back table, I need you looking at me. Okay, the last procedures we have to go over are before and after school rules. I will start we're on time club, and depending on how many days you're on time each month, you get a different prize from it. Believe it or not, our first day is over. I'm very excited about having each and every one of you in here. I've had time to work with and talk to everybody in here, and and I am really excited. We are going to have a fantastic year with all these really cool things we're going to be doing with Miss